Hey everyone, with the release of the second and final season, Netflix just completed the Sandman series. Before I get into the Sandman, I really need to acknowledge an uncomfortable complication for the series because of the ongoing controversies surrounding Neil Gaiman, and he's the author of the original graphic novel series. Whatever your opinion may be about him, there's no denying that Gaiman understands how to tell a smart and complex story. He's a master of weaving light and dark storylines together that both elicit pain and beauty while shaping his characters through conflicts that consume them. That said, Gaiman has issues to address, and audiences have every right to factor that into their decision of whether or not to watch the series. I chose to review The Sandman because it's been transformed beyond its original source material by the hundreds of creatives who came together to tell this story in a way that transcends the original graphic novels, making it their own. But more than anything, I think the fans of the series deserve a review to know if this is a series that they want to watch or not. So let's get into it. In season one, we're introduced to Dream, Lord Morpheus, the Sandman, the endless being who shapes human dreams and reality itself. The first season showed us what happened after Dream was captured and imprisoned for 100 years. It gave us threads of his story before and after that moment, offering insight into the dream realm and his relationships with his family of endless siblings, as well as other powerful gods and angels and demons as he searched for his lost tools to reclaim his power. The first season was unlike anything we'd seen before on television. It was a story about the stories that began with his capture and ends with his vanquishing of the dream vortex. Season two picks up those threads and pulls them tighter, showing how the relationships that shaped Morpheus continue to change him after his imprisonment. The season unfolds in these small arcs, from a renewed clash with Lucifer to his developing relationship with his son Orpheus, the search for destruction with his sister Delirium, and the looming confrontation with the Fates. Dense and deliberate, season two weaves multiple storylines into a focused whole, centering on Dream's evolution into an endless who understands that love is both the reason and the sacrifice for being. The show's creators clearly knew that they only had one season to finish this series, and they didn't waste their time. Instead, the story choices are lean, they're purposeful, and they're rich with emotional payoffs. Season two sticks the landing because of the characters and how it manages to create so many distinct characters in such a large cast that all feel wholly formed with depth and complexity. While there are a core set of characters within the series, The Sandman works because of the richness of the wider ensemble cast and the talent of the actors who bring these roles to life. Tom Sturridge as Morpheus is nothing short of mesmerizing. He doesn't just play the Dream King, he becomes him. There's something poetic in every scene he's in, whether he's speaking or just silently watching. It's the kind of performance that could have easily gone over the top in lesser hands, but Sturridge really does keep it grounded and lyrical in his way. Like when you think of a lyrical poem, that's what he brings to life in this role. And then there's Vivienne Acheampong as Lucienne, who gives us this character who's equally parts loyal and firm and compassionate. She stands beside Morpheus, not beneath him, and her love for him doesn't stop her from holding him accountable when he needs to be held to account. Kirby Howell-Baptiste brings warmth and humor to death. Her scenes are necessary for emotional balance, offering hope in a story that can otherwise feel a little too heavy at times. She makes death human and approachable, which softens the series in all the right ways. And then there's Esme Creed Miles as Delirium. What a surprise she was. I mean, honestly, I didn't connect with her in season one. I didn't really like her in season one for some reason. But here, She's a revelation. She's this strange mix of innocence and wisdom. And her perspective is so different from the other Endless. And yet it all adds such depth to the world. Her dynamic with Morpheus is kind of beautiful in that brother sister set of episodes that they have. And it brings out a more human side of him that we don't often get to see because of her. One of the biggest surprises for me, though, was the Corinthian. In season one, he was a nightmare, terrifying. He was complex, but he was still a villain and super gross and creepy with these little eyes with teeth. And but in any case, he is reborn in season two. And this new version of Corinthian is something more. He's not just a reboot, he's a reflection of who Morpheus is now and who the original Corinthian used to be. And it's a really important creation for Morpheus to make in season two because we see how the furtherance or the continuation of a character in a second iteration kind of carries on that lived memory from the original, but still creates a new and distinct iteration of that character. By seeing both versions, we retroactively gain sympathy for the original. And that's the magic of the show. It adds layers, even in hindsight, as we look back at what we've seen before. One of the things that makes The Sandman so powerful is that it knows how to put story first. It uses spectacle as a support, not as a distraction. Every thread matters. Everyone feels earned. Sure, there are small flaws. Some scenes are a little too long and they linger when they don't need to. Some storylines, like Morpheus and his son, might feel a little bit too emotional or a little too stretched out. Otherwise, like Lucifer's exit from hell might feel a little rushed if you don't know the source material. And I kind of want to stay on that for just a second because that point about Lucifer is important because I think it was one of the few areas that felt underdeveloped. And it might have been the one thing that got cut because they had to condense so much into this one season. Gwendoline Christie gave such a powerful performance in season one, especially in the battle between Lucifer and Morpheus, that her character's arc deserved more room to breathe. In season two, we see Lucifer pass the key to hell over to Morpheus. That's pretty much it for her. But we don't really feel the emotional buildup to that. And we don't really see the justification for that decision. If you didn't already know Lucifer's backstory from the comics, you might assume that this choice just came out of nowhere. It feels like the show needed maybe one more episode just to show how exhausted she was or how she's been trying to escape that role for a long time, or I don't know, just it should have been developed a little bit more in order to show how much it cost her to let go of it or how much she gained to let go of it. That emotional weight is hinted at, but not developed or not realized. It's one of the few times where the adaptation feels like a skipped beat. To be clear, this isn't a critique of Christie's performance. It's about how the writing didn't give quite enough time or attention to her material. It also makes me wonder if this show was originally conceived of as a 3-season arc that got compressed into 2, because that's kind of what it feels like. That's just my interpretation. But if it's true, it could explain why some threads feel rushed or lightly handled. But even with those bumps, the pacing mostly works. The show interweaves stories so skillfully that you don't get stuck in one place for too long. It pulls from the past, it links to the present, and it hints at the future, all while moving the narrative forward. There are so many shows today that rely on CGI and visual spectacle to hide weak writing. The Sandman, it completely embraces its writing. It embraces its aesthetic. It embraces everything that it is. And that allows it to build a strong, character-driven story for series. And then it uses the technology to support and expand that elevated version of this story. You can binge this show easily. You'll want to, I think. You'll want to keep going because it's compelling, it's smart, and it's emotionally satisfying. And it's visually beautiful to look at. Even when you see where it's headed, it still surprises you. That's the mark of a story that knows how to end well. The inevitable surprise. You saw it coming, but not quite like this. And despite a few pacing hiccups, the story remains tightly woven, using every moment to build forward momentum and using these emotional payoffs in really meaningful ways. The Sandman challenges norms and it twists legends, folklores, and fairy tales into these dark and sensual series moments that really explore the transformation of Morpheus, the king of dreams, from this cold, duty-focused eternal being into someone capable of deep emotional change that is rooted in caring for others and loving beyond the boundaries of his station. This evolution isn't sudden, it's gradual, and it's threaded deeply through the series, touching every choice and every character along the way. But fair warning, this series might not be for everyone. If you're uncomfortable with distorted or surreal themes, or the stories that explore uncomfortable truths through twisted, dreamlike narratives, this might push your boundaries. Still, that's what makes it so compelling. And I think it dares us to ask what happens when an immortal being who sees himself only as his duty begins to redefine himself through life and love and loss and connection to others. Season 2 gives us more confident Morpheus. He is fully in control of his realm, yet also more constrained by the rules that he has set for himself. His final confrontation with Lord Azazel is a standout moment, not just because of the scale of it, but because of what it reveals about his powers and his limitations. There's this constant tension in the Sandman between strength and vulnerability. Morpheus is one of the most powerful beings in existence, yet he's often powerless in the face of love and grief and obligation. That's what makes him compelling. And nowhere is that more evident than in the storyline with his son. That arc stretches across season 2, and while it does take up a fair amount of screen time, it's essential in understanding Morpheus' emotional transformation. You can't rush that kind of loss. You have to see the whole thing: his pride, his guilt, his hope, and finally his grief. And not just because it's the price of loving someone, it's the price of showing mercy. When Morpheus finally releases his son, you realize how deeply he's changed. He breaks his own rules. He does the one thing the endless are not supposed to do. He evolves. And that simple act reshapes everything that follows. If that storyline had been sped up, the entire ending of the series wouldn't have landed as powerfully as it does. That emotional arc also ties directly to the core idea of The Sandman as a story about stories, about the people who shape them and the dreams they inspire and the damage they can do. That thread runs through every arc, whether we're watching a nightmare try to become real or a dream give up power for love. And you see similar complexity in every character. Rose Walker, the Fates, Desire, who just wants Morpheus to love him but can't get what he craves. Even Despair, though she's less present, still contributes to a tension within that endless dynamic that's felt whenever she appears. These characters don't all need equal screen time because they represent forces that echo through the entire narrative. Their presence lingers even when they're not speaking. If you love season 1, season 2 is absolutely worth your time. The Sandman is binge worthy, beautifully crafted, and emotionally resonant. It's for fans of fantasy, yes, but also for anyone who craves smart storytelling, deep character development, and meaningful conclusions, which is hard to get sometime in these kinds of shows. So if you're someone who's conflicted about watching because of Neil Gaiman's personal controversies, I understand that too. But this series has evolved past its creator. It's now in the hands of directors, writers, producers, and actors, and all the incredibly talented people who brought it to life. and they've made something that transcends its origin. I think The Sandman, as a complete two-season series, will stand the test of time. It's emotional, it's poetic, it's messy, and it's beautiful and full of heart. It shows us that fantasy can be smart, it can be profound, and it can end with purpose. Whether you're here for the dreams, the nightmares, or the gods and demons, there's something here for you. And I'd love to hear what you think down in the comments. Did you watch Sandman? What did you think of season 2? Was it satisfying for you? Let's talk and let's get into the story. Thanks for being here, you guys. Please do give this review a thumbs up. Subscribe for more if this review helped. And while you're here, why not check out one of these other reviews? I'll see you all again soon. In the meantime, happy viewing. Bye for now.